Hey there, Josie here. Welcome to the YogaLocal podcast. It's been a while since I've been chatting to you, and we've been away on Shavasana. The studio's been closed, so I hope you really enjoyed all the content that we put out into the app for Self-Govern Week, because this whole week is all about accountability and just remembering that as yogis, we are supremely capable. And it's about taking charge of our lives and really figuring out what it is that is best for us in the moment, that's going to lead us more towards fulfillment, health, happiness, success, and ultimately lead us towards the life that we are meant to live. Yoga is it's a really amazing practice when you start to look at it beyond just it's a way of getting more flexible and stretching and strengthening your body. Yes, we can have a really strong physical body, but for many of us, there's more fundamental things that get in the way of us feeling alive and feeling really fully fulfilled. And some of those things, like, I don't know about you, but I've had this kind of relationship with life is like somehow if you wait long enough, things will arrive, right? And yoga is about reminding us that we need to take our life by the balls and start to reclaim our lives and take accountability for ourselves, right? Accountability is this opportunity to live at choice rather than just living randomly and accidentally. So we are going to be working with accountability for this whole month, and I'm going to give you three practices that you can check in with during your own home practice or here in the studio. But first of all, I just want to kind of reiterate this idea of living on purpose, right? It's a word that actually gets floated around quite a lot in other worlds, right? In the coaching world and the general health and well-being world. But actually, this purpose is a Sanskrit word, comes from the word dharma. And the yogis teach that our dharma is our great idea. And I love this, that we've all got an individual great idea, an individual blueprint, okay, that in some way we chose a certain life to live out to help us grow and evolve, right? Part of the challenges in life, part of the things that come our way are there to help us learn and grow. And each and every one of us have kind of bought in to a plan that we are looking to manifest, right, in this lifetime. Our soul purpose is also called, and it just generally means our dharma is about taking our life on, taking it by the hands and taking accountability for it. So 3 ways to check in with how you are participating in life. And you can use this in not just when you're practicing your asana on your mat. You can use these three practices like throughout your day, right? Because the yoga asana practice is basically training us to help us become more capable, more steady, more calm, more able to kind of respond to ourself rather than be this kind of like highly charged, reactive, triggered vessel that just kind of is not artfully moving through life, right? So first of all, number 1 is just when you're in a posture, when you're being held and you don't want to be held. Usually it's in those silent spaces. It's not when we're rushing and racing through a vinyasa that we get this opportunity to actually witness, how am I responding? How am I reacting to the energies that are starting to move through as you start to release energy, as you start to witness energy? how do you start to respond to that? You know, where is the frustration? Where is the ease? Where is the density? Where is the lightness? You know, it's all about looking into those pockets of awareness and asking yourself, is it actually aligned with growth? Is it aligned, you know, the way I'm responding, is this helpful? Is this actually going to, you know, make the situation any better, like for you and those that are around you, right? So number one, check in and just start to witness without judgment, by the way, just start to witness how you are responding. And you know, it can be kind of fun. It can be if you bring a certain aspect of kindness to that practice, just to witness yourself and how you're responding to situations, and then you can start applying that to, you know, situations in your life where, you know, so things play out, don't they, you know, on a regular basis. We tend to repeat habits, we tend to repeat behaviors, and it's only when you kind of like take a moment to actually witness yourself in those moments that, and actually start to take accountability for how you're reacting and responding, that we can actually start to facilitate change, right? Because that's number two. So number two is then you start to go, well, do I need to react like that? Do I need to respond in that way? Is there a more conscious way of being in this moment? And again, if you've raced through it and just kind of like propelled yourself into the future and like start to catastrophize and, you know, and let your emotions start to overwhelm you, then like that opportunity is really lost. So it's about keeping a cool head. This is why the yogis teaches stira sukham asanam, steadiness and ease. From that place we can really witness, from that place we can really align, from that place we can really take accountability for how we are moving through life and make that choice, right? Do I need to respond that way? Is it helpful? You know, and these are kind of like in the moment decisions, but the more you practice, the more artful you become at shifting, recalibrating the way that you perceive things, the way you respond to things, the way you approach things. And then, you know, it's always from that different viewpoint that you get to kind of like expand, you know, expand your consciousness, expand your ability to respond to the moment. So number three is where would your attention be better placed in that moment as you're kind of fixated on a specific emotion or thought or feeling or judgment? Can you get steady enough? Can we train that mind to be so supremely still and clear that we can make that choice of my attention is not helpful here. My effort is not helpful here. This is sending me in reverse. This is this is not evolutionary, right? And then we can really honestly, from that place, start to co-create our experience and move and redirect and find something that is more aligned to, you know, what is necessary in that moment, what is more helpful. Okay, so I'll just repeat those three things. We are working with these all month. And if you're practicing at home, I encourage you to start to weave these kind of observations. So number one, how are we reacting? Does it align? Does it align? Does it make sense? You know, do I need to react like that? That's number two. And then where would my attention be better focused? Where could, if I directed my energy more artfully, you know, what would be the outcome of that, right? So weaving those three things through into your practice. And then just a little heads up on how we're also exploring accountability throughout August in the different stages of the Hatha yoga practice. So for those of you that don't know, or you're listening to this for the first time, we teach traditional Tantra Hatha yoga. It's a progressive practice we work from stage 1 in our anchor practice, which is a moon practice, a lunar-based practice that helps us, first of all, calm and stable the mind, right? Because we are really not able to take charge of ourselves if our mind is constantly wired, right? And wired into the external. So anchor is stage 1. Stage 2, rise. This is when we start to bring in more of the tantric practices, and we, after mastering our mind and getting it stable and steady, we can start to direct our energy more artfully and start to take our awareness inwards. We use the energy to internalize, right? So this is not about, as we go through the stages, getting more and more more and more fancy with our postures, and more energetic, and getting all hot and sweaty and throwing ourselves around the room, and you know, moving through really fast-paced vinyasas, because we'll lose the mind, right? We'll lose the mind and we will waste energy, right? So our purpose is in rise is to anchor the mind, and then rise our level of awareness, internalize, not externalize, expand. Okay, so we need the practices that are going to help us move into growth. So anchor, rise, stage 2. Stage 3 is energize, which is our fire practice. And once we've learned to master our mind, we can then master our nature, the more heated side, the sun, and the more cooling side, the moon, and that's our anchor and rise. We balance those out, and balancing those out brings us into a place of equilibrium, homeostasis, which then allows us to access our fire, right? So, you know, there's a lot of metaphorical stuff in yoga. You don't have to get literal. We've not got a little oven inside us like, you know, chopping out flames. But if you get this idea of once we're balanced, we can like really claim our power, really claim our strength, and ascend and get more expansive, more aware, more capable, and live more on purpose, right? And when we live more on purpose, we feel more fulfilled. We're going to get strong along the way. We're going to get more flexible on the way. But hey, we're also going to be like, you know, the most optimum human being that we can be, right? So I think that's a much bigger win. I hope you agree. So in those 3 stages, we are going to be taking accountability for 3 different specific areas. So in anchor this week, on this month, we're going to be taking accountability for our emotional content. So yoga and science now actually teaches us that emotions are just energy in motion, right? So we are energy on a basic fundamental level. You know, we look at ourselves as fixed and solid and stuck, you know, and as we move into the more yogic worldview, and also the scientific worldview now, the quantum field, we are basically vibrating energy, okay? So everything in existence is actually, on some level, moving, right? So we're not stuck, we're not fixed. Emotions are energy in motion, and this energy can become stagnant. It can get stuck. We can start to bury our feelings. We can, you know, we don't face up to them, right? And we kind of push them down, and it all becomes like, you know, issues in our tissues. Yoga starts to like, right, okay, this has happened, acceptance, this has happened. We've got this tension, we've got these knots, we've got all this stuff, this baggage that we're carrying. How do we shift it? And the first one of the teachings is then to like start to take accountability for those emotions and recognize them for what they are, and also recognize when they come up, when we start to move and become more steady in the mind, and we can witness them and take accountability for them. Then we can do that really transformational work of changing them, or at least not responding, not like being triggered by them, right? And just watching the energy move. You know, how often have you been in a situation when you've been completely emotionally overwhelmed, like it's the end of the world, and then the next day, those feelings you can't even replicate. Just how how you felt. It's the moment has changed, the emotion has gone, but you've been completely unbalanced by that experience. And the longer that you're in that imbalance, that's when dis-ease can start to enter the body and kick in. And also, if we're constantly in those states, it can lead to like depression. Like, we can send us in the opposite direction. So we really need to be able to take stock of our emotions and start to lean in those emotions that are actually supportive and that are going to help us move out of those stuck dark spaces. So in Anchor, that's where our work is going to be. We're going to be looking at our emotional content and taking accountability for it, and then maybe working very gently with humility to try and move past that emotional content that is not serving us, that's not in support of our Dharma. Okay, so that's Anchor. And in Rise, we will start to take accountability for our heart. So Rise, by its nature, is a more backbending and lateral practice. It starts to expand the upper energy centers, right? So it's about building awareness in the heart and just recognizing that just how much that our heart is feeding back to us. It's kind of like that that pilot light, right? Yogis use the flame at the heart. It's that pilot light. It's that that recognition that your heart is not going to steer you wrong. Your heart will give you that feedback that is kind of telling you on some level that you are off course. You're not on the right path. You're making a wrong choice. And yoga encourages to follow those kind of heartfelt, really soul-aligned, heartfelt directives, right? Even when all around you, everyone's kind of like thinking you're maybe crazy, right? If they're on some level, you have this deep like pull, it's that soul kind of pull forward through the heart that this is the right course of action. Then we need to start to kind of trust and be in that space and follow that heartfelt call, because we can kind of look around and look for external validation, and we do what our parents tell us to do, we do what our authorities tell us to do. But if we're not like actually working with our own sense of purpose, our own Dharma, we're following everyone else's Dharma, then we're not living our life the way that we need to be living it. So your heart will direct you to your purpose, and we will be opening up that heart center and really bringing in that bath, that emotional quality to help us get into that space during practice. Hope you're loving this. So finally, we have Energize, and our accountability here is going to be focused on our journey, right? So taking accountability that we are co-creators of our experience, right? We plot our course, we decide, which direction we're taking, and yes, there are things that come in, that may throw us off course, that may challenge us. But on some level, those challenges are helping us to grow and evolve and move us more in the direction of where we need to be. So, as I said earlier, once we are balanced, sun practice, rise, anchor practice, moon. These two forces of nature, once we are able to bring them into balance, and as yogis, we have the worldview that we are nature, born of nature. And if you want to learn more about Ayurveda and that kind of like fundamental umbrella practice, which kind of underpins all this stuff, then you're in the right place too. So stay tuned for more information on that, or come to classes. But anyway, so there's the two forces of nature. We are fundamentally born of that nature. When we start to master our nature, we master our sun, we master our moon, we energize, right? We light up our fires. We have the confidence, we have the will, we have that inner determination. We're taking accountability. We've had enough of our excuses. We've had enough of our being pulled down by our stuff. And it's about, right, let's co-create our experience. Let's move into why we're here. Let's actually claim our life and live it to the maximum. Let's take accountability for that process, right? You've got to get stuck in. You've got to do the work. You've got to get into the weeds and clear the decks and start to embrace life and yeah, start to make things add up. And over time, we get more and more lit up, more and more capable, and yeah, more and more ready to, oh, the sun's so moving around. Yeah, more and more capable of figuring out what the right thing is to do for us. And I think it's just such an amazing thing to explore. And I'm looking for all of the people out there who want to explore with me and be on this path and be on this journey and follow it and see if we can all become our most incredible selves. So hope you're inspired by that. And Alison and I are, we've had a couple of we've both had some time off. We're really ready for the next phase, moving into autumn and winter, and just keeping you accountable, right? So we're here to keep you accountable, but ultimately it's over to you guys. So can't wait to see you. All right, bye for now.